Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we'll check in with the Ames water plant. My guest today is Rachel Boylan from the Ames water plant. You are a student operator, a new position we have at the City of Ames water plant. Tell me a little bit about your position.
So as a student operator, I perform all of the regular operator duties, but we work every other weekend since we're also students. And we went through, they hired 4 of us last summer, was the first time they had the program. And we went basically trained all summer, 40 hours a week with the operators there. And then once they felt like they were comfortable with us taking over, we started our weekend shifts. So we do all of the same lab tests and normal duties of an operator. And
so you work at the water plant. You have a background that's it makes a good fit for this kind of position. Tell me a little bit about what you're studying. You're an Iowa State student?
Yep, so I'm at Iowa State. I'm a senior in biological systems engineering and global resource systems. So biological systems, I have a lot of classes with agriculture engineers. So it's kind of a mixture between civil environmental engineering and biology engineering. So it's a really great major, and I'm really happy that Iowa State has such a good program.
Well, as we were talking before the show started, you mentioned you're from Ames, so you're very familiar with our great water and
yes.
the high standards that Ames residents have for their water. You've probably been drinking it all your life.
Yep.
And so as a water plant operator, do you feel a lot of pressure to make sure that that water is always at its finest?
Absolutely.
And as a water plant operator, you mentioned some of the duties you do, the testing. Also, I think the student operators are sort of working off hours sometimes.
Yep, so we work every other weekend, which is nice for the full-time operator because they have more weekends off, where before their hours are already kind of weird, so it's nice that they have more time with their families and whatnot. So I work 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and then I have the next weekend off, and then the next weekend I work 10 p.m. Friday night to 6 a.m. Saturday, and then again Saturday night into Sunday.
Wow, some kind of unusual shifts there. I think people may not realize that there is always somebody at the water plant ensuring the safety and the great taste of our water.
We're there 24 hours a day, every day of the year. So.
And you guys will answer the phone if we ever call to find out how the water's looking.
Or anything, yes. We always take all of the calls. So,
yeah.
So I've had lots of interesting calls about some things that aren't even water related. But
well, what would be a water related reason that somebody might call the water plant?
Probably the most common call I get is if somebody turns their water on and it's looking rusty. Mm-hmm. So in order to fix that, you go to the lowest point in your house and turn on the cold water and flush it through. And you definitely don't want to turn on the hot water because then it gets in your hot water heater, and that's a big mess.
You know, it's funny, I get that same call as well when the water looks a little off-colored. People are afraid it's dangerous.
Right. It's not dangerous at all. It's just actually the iron in the water, which is natural, and it's usually like a buildup in the pipe, so that's why you run it through.
I just call it value added. So
sure.
a few extra minerals.
That works too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you don't have to take your vitamins.
Yeah, but it is a problem for laundry.
Yep. And actually the City of Ames too, if something does happen, a main break sometimes, there also is rusty water. So if your clothes get damaged or something, the City of Ames actually can take care of that for you.
Well, we do have the iron tablets that you can put in your laundry. You don't want to dry that laundry. You want to run it through again. And that iron remover, those tablets will take that iron right out. Right. It's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Don't dry the laundry.
Yep, just like the hot water.
Yeah, that's kind of the key. You mentioned a water main break. Right now in the summer, we're in the middle of construction season, and we do see water mains getting disturbed. We see some of those minerals and sediment being sort of stirred up, and we do get a lot more of those calls. So it is sort of a common thing. Again, not a dangerous thing at all.
Right. And if you do see a water main break, if you're driving around or something, it's always helpful to call us. Because sometimes you're the first person who sees it, or if it's at an odd hour or anything.
And the thing is that the first water main break that I came across was not what I expected. I've seen some that are more geyser-like. This simply was a lot of water running down the storm sewer.
Yeah, they really vary because all of the pipes in Ames are different sizes and shapes. And
so if you see a large discharge of water going down the storm sewer, it's not been raining, it's dry out, again, something to call in.
Yep, and even if it's a false alarm, it's good for us to know and send somebody out there and actually check up on it.
People have high expectations of water plant operators, that they know a lot of information. It sounds like you've become well versed.
I've been trained well.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were excessively trained.
And do you know the other operators? Do you work with them at all, or?
So when I'm on shift, I'm just by myself.
Okay.
But last summer, I was working with them all summer, and and this summer I'm engineering intern there also, so I get to work with them more and work on projects, and I get to, luckily, like, they've trained me well, and I've gotten to establish really good relationships with all of the operators and the admin people there.
So the water plant operation position is year-round?
For my position? Yep. So we started last April, springtime, and then you work all year round.
So Rachel, you mentioned briefly some of the things that you do. Explain to me a typical shift for you.
So usually when you go in a little early so you can talk to the operator who you're switching shifts with, and they can update you on everything that's happened, all of the flows. And then I usually check the flows and see if we're okay on demand, if I need to add water, take water off. So if I do need to change something, I can make a well change. So just switch a couple wells or change them all. It depends on a couple things: ammonia levels, flow, obviously, hardness. And then I start right into my long set of tests. So it kind of depends shift to shift which tests we run, but then you do your lab tests every 2 hours. And then if something is weird, you do the test more, monitor it. Sometimes we have to do slaker changes, a lime slaker change, which is lots of fun. Sometimes it kind of just depends on what happens. You kind of have to roll with it.
So when you're doing these tests, you said that you have to kind of modify, so some chemistry involved there, trying to determine how to make sure the water falls within a normal range?
Yep, absolutely. So if we get a low number, we increase the lime or make changes. Chlorine's a big one.
And how often are you doing these tests?
The normal tests are every 2 hours.
Wow, so very specific, very deliberate kinds of testing. And then I know another part of your job, a little different aspect, is you've been at the new plant, sort of watching that process go forward. What's going on out at the new plant right now?
Yep, so I'm really fortunate to also intern this summer and get to work with the engineers there, and which is a really good experience for me to see a brand new water treatment plant being constructed from the design process to actually being able to watch a concrete pour. So right now, last winter there was just basically underground pipe work, and then this summer it's been a pretty rainy summer, so they've been working a lot on the actual main treatment portion, the backwash recovery tank, the filter rooms. There's a lot of rebar out there right now, and they had a concrete pour this morning. So
a lot going on, and the project's on schedule?
Yep, a lot going on. Project's on schedule. There's actually a webcam that you can access on our website, and you can watch out the progress yourself. You should be able to, driving down 13th now, see more things coming up, but that webcam is really cool too.
So if you go to cityofames.org/water, you can get access to that webcam and sort of watch the project as it unfolds.
Yep, it's time-lapse, so it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's really great. Rachel, anything else you'd like to add? Sounds like you have a very busy summer.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Well, great, thanks for joining us. Again, if you'd like to see that webcam, check out our website at cityofames.org/water and see what's happening at the new water plant. Other things you might want to think about this summer on your calendars: at Thursday evenings, the Ames Municipal Band continues to play. Those concerts go through the end of July. Pre-concert at 7 with the Ames Municipal Band taking the stage right around 8 p.m. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.